Hello. Hi guys. How are you? Sorry. Oh, I think I shift position with that. Oh. Hi guys. Hi Goatee. Oh hi Tara. Oh yeah. About the time zones. Yeah. We are looking to try to stream from home, and so we can stream all hours. And we are looking to be able to do that, but we need some better internet connection. So that is why these time slots are a little bit tricky, I know. But it's lovely seeing you here. How are you guys doing? I'm just gonna check so you can hear me alright? Yeah, it looks like you should do. Let me know if that little noise comes back in the microphone. That is not my voice, but that little crackly crack. I'm fine. How are you doing, Goatee? Beautiful seeing you here. Ah, what a wonderful day it is today. So, I'm a little bit tired. I apologize. We have a little bit of a situation at home. And I wanted to ask you guys, because sometimes, even if you're an energy worker, we need a third eye perspective on things. So, I have a question for you. If you feel like trying to find a solution with me. We got a little boy at home, a little kitty cat, and he's 6 years of age now. And I talked about him before. He lost the love of his life, now going almost 2 years ago. And he's not sad in that way. His fur is beautiful and he's joyous and playful and loves to cuddle and is his own self. He's a little baby boy that won't ever grow up, for reals. I know we say that when we keep other animals as pets, and they tend to never grow up because they see us as the parents sometimes, depending on the animal, of course, on the individual. But he truly will never grow up, and that's fine. That's just his personality, and he's wonderful. But we do have a slight issue, and I think that I've spoken about this before. We have after the love of his life passed away, another little boy moved in with us, another kitty cat, now a year ago. And there are 2 other cats, so there are 3 cats in total in our family at the moment. And they get along, it's all right. And And he loves this new little, he's not a kid anymore, but he'll always be a kid in our eyes. He's just 1 year of age. This new one coming in. And they go together really well. But ever since the love of his life passed, he can't stop chewing on the floor and the wallpaper. And because we live in an old house, there are quite some loose flooring and with the plastic carpet, and some loose wallpaper because we need to redecorate the entire house. But in our bedroom, we haven't done that quite yet. So he started to work for us, if that makes any sense. And ever since he was little, even before his love passed, he got fish. He had only fish to eat. And his mother told him that this is the only thing you can eat. And the lovely woman that he lived with gave them fish and just fish. And so he has never eaten any cat food. He only eats fish and what else he can find that we eat. And since we eat vegetarian food, he eats everything but what should be good for him, if that makes any sense. But he is alive. He's been alive 6 years, and he lives his life, and he has a wonderful life. But he doesn't eat nothing but tuna. And with his activity level, his tummy is a little bit upset. He needs some more food. And so he does take prey. And so he goes hunting on his own, and he takes home prey and he eats prey. But he's still hungry, and he's also bored and probably doesn't really know what to do with himself since his love passed. So he's chewing on wallpaper and floor. And then yesterday we tried to, and this is going on always, all the time we're home, throughout the day and throughout the night. Sometimes he falls asleep, of course, and then he's quiet for a little while, but then he wakes up and this goes on and on and on. And we cuddle him and we play with him, and we're such a tight family. But he does do these things to get our attention, but he does get our attention. So it's a little bit difficult. And so this goes on throughout nights, which is why I'm a little bit tired and stressed out, to be honest, because this has been going on for almost 2 years now. And it's tough to get a night's sleep. And so, as an energy worker, and healer, this is quite tough to talk about, because you should be able to help the ones that you love, right? If you can help strangers, you should be able to help the ones you love. But the thing is, he seems to really to feel well, And so yesterday we went and we bought him some care food. So we went to a pet supply shop and bought this package of meat that they said were really good for cats who are a little bit on the hungrier side, and that should be sufficient. And this morning we were so happy to be able to provide this to him, and hope that he will be happy and not having to be hungry or bored, but feel this is okay. And he wouldn't even touch it. Both other cats just straight onto it. Oh, this is so good, nom nom nom, but they eat everything also provided. He just looks at it and he says to us, "Oh, I have no food, mommy, daddy, there's no food on my plate." Well, there is excellent meat on your plate. It's just like eating a prey, although this is another type of meat than what you're used to, but it is meat and it's really good for you, and you eat prey, so try it. "No, but daddy, mommy, there's no food on my plate." And so he won't eat that either. And we can't keep giving him tuna because that won't suffice. He is not happy with that either anymore. So has anyone got any ideas what to do with our little boy? Because he's I love him. and we're such a tight family, and he's such a wonderful individual and such a cuddly, wonderful little boy who gets us. We can just talk to him and he does and talk to us and do things that we tell him, and all of this wonderful. We got such a bond, but the stress level is rising due to the lack of sleep and stress of trying to understand if he will hurt himself eating things he shouldn't, because he started to chew on electrical cables now as well. Sometimes, or once, he tried to do several times, but once he peed on the wall as well to get our attention. And we know that they do this because they feel lonely and because they're bored and because they have nothing else to do and because they want attention and maybe tell us something. But he is such a healthy individual and we are with him always, and maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I'm gonna look at chat now. Sorry, Cody, I saw you. No, it wasn't you. Oh, it was your Streamlabs. Okay. You're great. I'm so happy. So, is anyone have any, from a third eye perspective, anyone who would, could want to talk to us about this? The first thing that pops into your mind, because we live in it, sometimes it's really important to get a further perspective, even though how much you work with energy. Has anyone got any ideas on what we can think about in the situation? Because, as I said, his fur is so soft, and he's got, his eyes are, when they're shifting between green and blue and yellow, they're so clear. So he looks really healthy, and he's a really good, his body is just as it's supposed to be. A little bit chubby sometimes, but not too much at all. And he is active, and he hunts, and he plays, and he sleeps, and he eats, but he doesn't eat what should be good for him. I don't know. I've been thinking if he could be allergic to something and know this within himself, and so I thought that maybe he was allergic to wheat, because that was something that came up for me. And since I am, it was just, maybe he is too and knows that he can't have this, but there's no wheat in this food either. So I'm not quite sure. Is anyone who's got any ideas? I would love to hear them. So I'm just gonna put that out for you. I would love to have this discussion. I had a beautiful conversation. You want to be a protector of Earth. That's just that's how he speaks. If he had a voice, also, this little Mickey he's called. It's beautiful. But yeah, protector of Earth. You mean with, how do you mean? About the hunting? I want to share something with you guys. I just really felt like it. I know you've seen this little one here, this little setup, but I usually have this one in, this little setup. I want to show you the entire piece because I'm so happy with it. My little magic table. It's not much, but I really want to share it with you. Are you ready? Oh, it's heavy, but here it is. Oh, sorry. This is my little, my little magic table. And so I got my wand. Hang on. I got my wand here. And a little bit of a greenery. And then this on top. It's very easily made, but isn't it cute? I really like it. And the wand is not dipping into the earth. I've created this little holder for it. You see? Not very beautiful, but it's efficient and it works. I really just wanted to share that with you. I wish I could help people across the world that needed it. You know what I believe, Gertie? You definitely can. And in just doing that, what you do, just wishing it, the thing is, and this is a controversial subject, but it's quite interesting. Um, I usually say this about depression, but it works for everything. I think when we can wish it, part of us is already there. Because how could we wish it if we did not know about it? So, in those terms, you already do. You already do with your energy, since we're all connected. Just sending out that healing vibe of love and protection, as would be your words, that goes out to those who need it. And the beautiful part in this, if you really want to feel in your physical realm that you also make a difference and not just in the energetic one, although they're one and the same, as you know. If you let the healing vibe soar out and just trust that with you wanting to help, you do help. And you let that come back to you and reflect that upon you. Those beautiful, as we are mirrors of one another. So when that energy comes back to you, if you just see someone smile at you, that means you've given them a smile. In energetic form, in emotional form, in physical form. And that means you deserve the smile you get. You always do. So when you feel this satisfaction in your life, when you feel you can heat out the healing vibes and just share them along the universe, and that comes back to you, if you let that in the mirror effect reflect upon you and realize that this is what is going on within you, you can also trust yourself to then do the part as you wish, also in the physical world. Since you have that strength of knowing that we can't be everywhere at once, but we can be within our hearts, in ourselves. And when we are, we're also everywhere in the universe. And if we can see that and reflect that upon ourselves, from within ourselves as where it comes from, and feel that, we can also then easily, or more easy, allow ourselves to also go where we feel needed. But what we have to do, and this is, in the physical world, but what we have to do, what I feel is really important, is to always realize, and this is the controversial part of it, we must always realize that what we do for ourselves. It's the only thing we can do. But for many of us, almost everyone, many people at least, I know that it is true that it feels really good to help others. But it feels good, right? We do it for ourselves, and in that we can reflect it out to also share with others. If we can acknowledge our human side in it all, that transparency, that genuinity of simply being who we are, we can also share that transparency and genuinity and being who we are out in the world to reflect back upon others, sharing that joy and having them feel them being in authenticity, in generosity, and just who they are. And that is beautiful. We can't take others' place. We just have our own, but we can share. And we can listen. And we can be. Oh dear, your name. Wave week. 23. Oh, from New Zealand or New York? Is it New Zealand or New York? It's probably New York, no? Beautiful. How are you, my friend? Hi from Sweden. You have a slight issue of limiting yourself, yeah, because you feel like you could do more. But the thing is, you already do everything that you ever could. It's just about seeing that and then doing it with transparency and being genuine in it, into it, being focused in that I know this is what I do and it's wonderful and I'm just being me. And so that vibe will raise all vibes, right? And then you can travel further. You already travel far, and I mean in energetic form, with your healing vibes and your, I know for you, you feel you don't have this and you don't know how to find it and all of it, but just by being you, you send this out. We all do. And it's just beautiful when we can realize it, because then we can cherish in it, and so it can be even more bubbling up, you know? And I think that is so beautiful. Before I go on, because I feel I would like to do a transference for you, Koti, or a very short reading, or maybe just talk to you for a little while, I want to share with you, Bempus has continued to work on our queuing system. So now you can also leave the queue when you feel you need to. You don't ever have to if you don't feel like it, but it is now a function. So you can join the queue by typing !joy, as in bubbles of joy. And you can leave the queue if you feel by doing it backwards. So we're gonna see if we will stick to that or if we will have another word for it. But right now it is joy backwards, ! So it's still joy, but with a Y. So it's backwards. But you can join the queue by typing ! joy. And you will be in queue. It's so much fun seeing it all develop. So Koti, I want to talk to you. And I want to talk to you about not believing that you have any powers. We all have equal amount of power. We all have this ability, this gift, whatever people want to call it. It is an instinct, is what I see it as being. And it should never have to be anything else unless it makes us feel good thinking it to be something else, because all we do is having ourselves live the best live we can live. Everything that happens, however rough it may seem in the moment, I truly believe there's a reason for it. And if not an external reason, not a spiritual reason, there's a reason for you to stay alive. So whatever happens, whatever it is, somehow is a way for you to feel better. And it's really tough. And I'm not talking about situational situations. I believe everything to have a reason. But I'm especially talking about how we react to those situations and what happens within ourselves. It all comes, that was all there for a reason. It's all there because of us fighting to survive, because that's what us humans do. And I think it's definitely worth it. So talking about this with having no powers, having no abilities, and not knowing how to tap into it, no matter who tells you, you have this wonderful gift. I feel people have said to you that, it feels like you know me. It feels like you go deep. I'm going back to school now. I feel, Goti, with you. I'm just gonna check so you're still here, my friend. Are you still here, Goti? I feel you are. Yeah, you should be. Twitch is having a little bit of a difficulty to see who's here and not. Again, it happens. It's fine. You're here. Yeah, I feel like in school, people would comment, usually with a silence, but there would also be people talking to you about, usually though, because it really comes as being silence coming against you, because not many people did talk to you, but it was this common understanding that you dig deep, that you see things from a bird eye perception, I would say, and then you zoom in and then you focus on this. You really can go into the core of issues, of things. And what has been troubling you, I feel, is that no one has then decided to listen to you of your what findings you've found, you've come to conclusion of. It feels like people have sometimes, they want to talk about how certain aspects of it, as with math, for example, or more, maybe not math, but yeah, but it feels like those kind of subjects, it's a really cool, even though they're talking about, with maths and such, but with a more subjective, even though everything is the same, when in school sometimes we categorize different things, right? Subjects, and more subjective subjects as is coming through, as I should say. I don't understand really the subjective part of it, but there's more scientific ones that can have one truth. Your ability to go bird eye and then just hook onto straight into the core has really proven to be difficult, but also very, it really helped you. But it feels like when we're talking about more general subjects, or that can be explained in wider areas, it feels like you've come up with conclusions that could really benefit the perspective, the wider perspective, because you zoom in on different areas, different parts that others might miss. And I feel, especially with history, and I resonate with this with you, in school, about history, what, can't we see from this side, this angle? And so many times I've been called being a danger for society because I was thinking outside of the box, or not outside of the box, because I'm still following the rules of what society has taught me to think, and in those, how to think, and with the expressions and words and sentences that is language. But still within that, I still think about, can we see it from this perspective, and how about the people who lived after and before, or lived all the way through this two eras, going from one area to the other, for example, or time periods. Can we talk about them, or them who are not mentioned here, or, all those things? And when I brought that up with my history teacher, I was called being a danger to society, because it was probably, now I can understand that he wanted to go into more things, more detail. He was with me on that, but was taught, because of what he needed to teach, that we needed to keep to a strict schedule of what we was taught, so that we had time to go through everything that needed to be said. So I think it was that frustration of limiting himself, restricting himself in his work, that made him react in such a way. But it's still something that I can resonate with, that is coming through in your energy. I'm gonna read I have kind of gave up, because I feel what I say to people goes in one ear and out the other, and that upsets me. I understand that. And I can see this especially with people, because going back to what I said about this with history and subjects, because I feel that really you can really tune in on something, and the same with, as you mentioned, people. But it feels like you want to take things from a scientific point of view, but if a emotionally scientific point of view, if that makes any sense. You want to gather the information that we can find in order to find a solution, a new form of solution that makes people feel better, because you're such an empathic and deep thinking soul. But you're also very, they want to say theoretical, if that makes any sense to you, because it feels like you're still standing on a very clear-sighted. You really want to have your thoughts put together before you bring your conclusion out on the table, and that conclusion is something that really could benefit others, that really could be beneficial, and you know this, but no one seems to listen to it. Probably because it does take you some time to put it together, because it's such an important and beautiful process for you to put different data into a and I mean this before, but it feels like it was so important. That's how you feel, yeah. Because it's such a delicate process to put different data into being analyzed and then finding not the perfect solution, because you know nothing is perfect, but a good solution on a problem. And you really are carrying those answers within you. And what really is upsetting, what I read in your emotional or in your chart, is that you know this to be true yourself, but it brings it down in not feeling that. It's not that you feel, because I said I want to talk to you about feeling you have no powers. I don't want to say that you don't feel like you don't understand. You don't feel like you can't put things together. You don't feel small in that way. What is so tough is that you feel within yourself that sometimes what you say can be really beneficial for someone else. And you come up with these plans that are so delicate in fashion, and just simply one truth that could work if you just let's try. And why I feel you don't know how to put it out is because people don't listen. But it's not this feeling of you don't know at all what to say. It's more like you know what you would like to say, but you don't know how to put it forward. And so does it really matter? And in that you lose, because this is such a delicate and important part of you, this analyzing and coming up with conclusions. It's such a beautiful, wonderful part of you, and such a beautiful and important one that really takes up a lot of your personality within yourself. And so when that is questioned again and again and again and again, or not even questions, just ignored, that puts down everything else, that darkens all other things, because this is how you think, this is how you interpreted the world. And so it's not that you're losing sight of what you believe in, it's more you're losing sight in how that fits into the mold of others. And so because you can't find a way out of how you are constructed, because there is no reason for you to do so, then you don't know how to find your way into being part of what others can understand. If this is something that you can resonate with, my friend. You are such a deep thinker, and you come up with genuine, individual solutions. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel when I work with you, with your energy charts, what I feel is, I don't want to talk about how we have, a set path, but they are talking about karma here, and that this is simply what you are meant to be, meant to do. You're not meant to think in any other way than you do. You can't think in any other way than what you do. If we talk about gifts, this is your gift, because this is you. And I heard an expression yesterday talking about, and this was in Swedish, so I don't know how it translates, but to translate it directly, it's about pink angels. If you had that expression, I think it's called something else in English, I'm sure it is. But in Swedish, it translates to pink angels. And it's about this person that talked to me about this, mentioned it as being empaths. But when I read in the charts, or when I go up in the library, what information is coming to me now, I wouldn't say that you are an empath per se, in that you feel others' emotions or feelings, but you are a empath in the way that you find more than what is, you find what can be, and solutions. And this is absolutely beautiful. I'm trying, why I'm being a little bit distant and why I'm being a little bit like this at the moment, I'm trying to find the right words. I'm trying to see what wants to come through to say to you, so that you will feel it in your heart to resonate with, and not being put, I don't want to put it as being a responsibility of yours, because no, it's not a responsibility, it's simply who you are. But I want you to know that there's a reason that you are who you are. But it is also your choice what you do with the matter. But it won't change who you are. And we usually talk about this, how we are so similar as humans. And sometimes we feel, because I feel with you, sometimes we go into this feeling, oh, we're the only ones feeling like this. And then knowing that we are so far from that, there are so many people feeling like us, and so we have no right to even feel like we are alone in this. And I know you can resonate with this, and so do I. The thing is, what comes through is that not everyone is experiencing what you are, what you do, because you do think in another type of way. Others do. There are more of them, of us out there thinking like you do, or in very similar ways, yes. But it is something that is not spoken about so much. And when talking to your chart, when seeing this, I wonder about I know you heard the expression star seeds. And I'm starting to think about if there is something to that, but more in the way of maybe we come from different planets, definitely. Maybe we are angels incarnated, definitely, could be. But it could also be due to just the emotional state of ourselves and what we've been through and what happens. But no matter the reason, I do see you, as I would say, as a pink angel, a scarlet angel. I'm trying to find a good way to say it, meaning that you have no responsibility to help others with this, but I see, oh yeah, I just remember this was why we started this reading, because you wanted to help others. And so there's definitely a path for you in that. And I would like you to go into working with, I'm looking. Have you worked with nails before, Gertie? Let's take the path here. Have you worked with nails before? Because it's quite interesting, because I could see you sit, you like to build things, yeah. I can see you sit though in a saloon. You know when people go to the hairdressers or to a saloon and just talks their heart out about things they wouldn't talk to anyone else about? They're a little bit like counselors in that way. Just a safe space to talk. And I could just see you be there and really just putting forth solutions to them in that small form, as well as, then just traveling the world and be there, to actually, I feel you have the ability, because you have this bird eyes way of thinking. You can both help people in their individual emotional life, as well as how to cleanse the water in Africa for this village. And I can see you do both ways. And the thing is, what I think this is saying is that I think it is important for you to do both things. Because your anxiety level, you're very easily stressed, but you're stressed in a directly emotional way. And it's all connected, of course, but I do feel you get easily drained. And so you need that rush of feeling you're being proactive, of feeling you're being helpful, and actually building this way of having people being able to drink the water. At the same time as you do need those, I want to say softer, but that's not the word. You do need those laid back, still being there with people, because you are a people person. And I feel like even when in a relaxed state, relaxing for you is to observe. And so I could see you in both settings, and I think it's important for you to also allow yourself to be in both settings. And seeing that you do just as much, because you're being there for you, and so you can be there for others. Even when you relax, you still think a lot, yeah. And the thing is, I don't think you want to shut yourself off. I don't think you want to shut yourself out from the world. I don't think that is what gives you energy. For some people it is. To think, yeah, I could see you sit with a focaccia, cold coffee. I don't even think you drink coffee, but to sit and sip on a little drink and just observe people. But I try to put that into you being just by yourself, and it doesn't fit. I just see you really like to study people, and you like to study movement, and that's important to you. So don't let anyone take that away from you. I know many people would say go and be by yourself, and for many that is important. But for you, if you resonate with it, I truly see you need to be in movement. And I don't mean you physically in movement per se, but you need to be in movement. So you need to be at a place where people are, where things are happening. And you need to be there to observe, to feel that you can then come with a result. And it shouldn't always be about the result, my friend. It shouldn't always be about what you put into the world. Because you always put things into the world, even you just being you. Right now, you're putting beautiful things into the world. But no, I don't think you should let people limiting you into just being with yourself. And if you don't resonate, of course, follow your own heart first. But I really feel it's important for you to be where things happen. Just remember, it doesn't always have to be big things. We can learn so much from the smaller things to bring into the bigger one, the bigger picture. You do look for results a lot. Yeah, that's because you are conclusion oriented. You want a solution to the world's problem, but you want a solution to the people's problem, and you want a solution to individuals' problem. You just want the flow to be flowing and not having to be blocked up because you see no reason for it. So just get rid of it and work this and find a solution. And that's just what we need. And that's what you need. And I am so eager to say, just remember to relax and go out in nature and breathe. Do that too, yes. But never stop observing, because that is how you relax. I truly believe this. And we are different. And that is beautiful. I feel there is a challenge for you to sometimes sit in silence, and that is a way to get to know yourself better. But I feel you've been doubling with this for so long. You've been having to handle this for so long, being struck with nothing but ignorance. Sorry to use that word, but that really just came through. With people ignoring you and also don't understand and don't care to listen. Because for you, it's not about understanding one specific point. It's for being open to understanding how we can think around that. And I think you've been handling this for so long, so no, I just want you to be free. And in order to be free for you is to be able to be free in your observation. To actually know that it's not wrong to be around other people. It's not wrong to observe, because for you it's so important and it's part of the delicate process, and the delicate process gives you life. And should you feel exhausted and not resonate with this at all, of course, shut yourself off for a little while and focus. I can see that joining our meditations could work for you, definitely. But once again, it really feels like for the longer period of time, where I, for example, who am very introverted, I need extended period of time when I'm just by myself, because that's how I read. I go up into the universe and I read information in energetic form. All this energy, but you know what I mean? For you, you want to see that before you. So do. We are different, and it's wonderful. So what I want to say, be who you are. Definitely. And if you want to change the world, if your heart and heads are into it, and you feel joy, then do it. And the beautiful thing about you is that you don't think you have the clear-cut answer for everything. What you feel, what is coming through at least, is that you have an answer that can open up for discussions. And it's those discussions and those projects that can come out of it that is so important for you. Because you see it as being important to the world. So go for it. Get yourself out there. That's who you are. Does that make any sense to you? I want to know, you got so many plans for everything. I would love to follow you, to follow what happens, you know? I would love you to check in and just, maybe you can have a little newsletter or something to let us follow you to follow you it. And don't ever feel that being your responsibility. Just a little push for the joy that you have within yourself. Truly. Let me know, Goti, because I love to follow you. And I would love, maybe we can work together someday. I truly believe that what we do, we can use to come further in evolution. We all do, all the time. Time is ticking right now and we're evolving. But you know what I mean. There are some projects, there's some plans, there's some interesting things that, you know, that have their own place. Maybe we could talk about it someday. You have a brilliant mind. Just know that you also have a brilliant heart. With love, my friend. Me too. I will be honored as well. It will be my privilege. I would love to do this. Thank you so much, Freddie. And thank you for being part of this little community. It means a lot. And you know, all these tests, all these things that we need to be within ourselves, you know, the psychology of it. We're all different. And for you, follow you. Just know that if you don't resonate, your voice always comes first. Because I'm just here as a little bit of a reflection, I hope. And some joy. A little bit of joyous bubbles of joy, I hope. But also, yes, love and truth. Just life. Super Hamburger. Hi, my friend. Are you still here? I'm gonna check. It says that you should be still here. Oh! Sorry, I'm so professional. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I would love to know. Would you like to evolve? To Vivaldica discussion? Would you like to tell me what you're talking about? Because I have no idea. I would love to hear your story behind this and what you think and what is going on and what the subject is. And if anyone wants a energy reading or a transference, whoop! Sorry, I'm just. You can put exclamation mark joy in chat. You're a heavy believer in angels. I would see yourself as being one, Cody. Incarnated angel. If they do exist, I see you as one. But, and I've heard this as well, I've always known this to be an incarnated angel. And that we need to, because I know that's where you were gonna go in calling me an angel and yourself. And I've always heard this and I always known this, but I also always tried to be. I always tried to be an angel, and I felt like a monster. So when I grew up, I felt like a monster wanting to be remembered as an angel. And then I met Bempers, my fiance, and he made me realize that I am the worst thing I can imagine. I'm human. And that grew into being the best thing I could imagine, because it's just true. It's just who I am, being an angel or not. I'm just human. And then I went on to having this course where I was gonna become a medium in reading angels. That sounded wrong. I don't know how to explain it better, but a channel between the angels and Earth, so to speak. And she told me that I am definitely an incarnated angel, and so I went back into this just when I've just come to the conclusion, or conclusion came from you, sorry Goti, but I've just come into understanding and accepting that I'm human, and here's this person who's told me again that I'm an angel, and I feel I can't live up to that. And today I've just accepted we can be anything and everything. We just have a life, so let's live it. And the most beautiful title I know of today is human. That's how I feel. And being it that makes others feel uncomfortable, because you feel like I'm trying to cast a shadow over something, or trying to say that I'm more than human in saying that. Then if I am, we all are. So why not just be us, right? I'm gonna read chats. Oh, Peggy cries. Hi, how are you, my friend? Long time no see. You were coming in with a different energy today, my friend. There's loads of confusion going on. Is it about the project? Things are moving, but no? Because there's so many different energies coming from you today, Peggy cries. Are you okay? Humans are the most interesting forms to learn about. Definitely. So observe them, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As long as that not being you. Maybe about what happened between me and my mother yesterday. About another event, I think. Yeah. There's such a confusion coming through, and I hope that we can shed some light and shed some joy to you. And love. Peggy cries. Thank you for being here, my friend. Can I send you a very short healing? A very, very, very short one? Would that be okay? I'm gonna use water for this. You know what I did yesterday? I did something I never thought I would. And it was beautiful. I gave my fiance healing. And you know, people say that you shouldn't provide that to your loved ones. Of course you can. And it was absolutely beautiful. So yesterday I had 3 healing sessions in total. And all throughout the day I worked with the gold and blue stripes of wisdom and love. And with you, Pagakrais, I want to do the same. I'm gonna read as the energy is building up. My mother likes from time to tell me about job offers, despite knowing that I'm already doing. And yesterday she did that again, and it affected me a bit more than usually. I got a bit insecure after she told me about this, despite knowing I'm on the right track to pursue my dreams. Is that why I got the project of the podcast being part of it? Being due to that being related to the path that you are already on? Maybe? Yes. I work with this beautiful energy of gold. It's like this lapis lazuli, right? With the golden threads and the blue, but it's a bit of a lighter blue. And there it is. It's for love and wisdom. And so I'm sending it off to you. I'm just gonna find you. Pagakrais. There you are. So let's whisk it off to you. Traveling through and reaching you. There. It is received. Oh. It's okay, take your time, my friend. Just gonna gently stir it around you. Let it go with a brisk little whiff of air. I can feel you're not open to it right now because of the stress level. It's okay. Just know that it is there anyway. There. And then into your heart. Beautiful. I hope that gave you something, a little something. It's still working, and as you know, it's a process, and it will be with you until you can open up and let it in. It's okay. Just take the time you need, and it will be there. All the love to you, my friends. I had a private message. I'm just gonna check what is going on. You who wrote me a private message. If you did, you're the only one who did this stream, so you know who you are. If you would like a energy transference or a energy reading, oh, sorry, hang on. You can put exclamation mark joy in chat. But then when you feel like you are open to I'm just gonna put it like that. I will not do what you requested me to do, but I am here for you anyway. Just to be you. Just for you to be you. Hopefully. They're asking me to continue your healing, Pagan. So I'm gonna do so with the fire. And I know that this is a easy way for you to focus. So let's do that. That's a cool effect now. Battery. With a flame, I mean tigress. Because they are slowly letting me in. So I just want to put some, I just want to do a little bit of this over the body to just give you a little bit of that warmth, okay? Because you're already doing so much yourself, as you know, we've talked about as well. So I just want to say that all is well. I'm going to use a little bit. Use this. Oh, let's put it there. Put it like, no, not that one. Oh, he wanted to stay. Okay, he can stay. This little leaf, dry leaf, or how I should put it. It's a decorative leaf, but it came through wanting to be part of the process of this company, and I brought it to the office, and I had one of my first clients that came in are very closely related to shamans, and their guides are shamans, 12 shamans. It's really wonderful to work with. It's really cool. So with this little leaf came a woman who I sometimes work with, who are related to shamans, but who are a medicinal woman, you call them that. And so since then, sometimes when I work with people who are druids or shamans or of nature spawn, so to say, we all are, but feeling a heart to have a close relationship to nature in another set of ways than maybe other would. Just as, when we feel a very close, specifically close bond to specific parts of nature, this wants to come in. And so it wants to be a part of this reading as well, or this little healing transference. Remember you, to remember you, or to remind you to remember you. That too. You. Hold that rock, that I've talked about? If you put that up, what you had, that little object, that small object, Pegacrates, that you had to hold on to, now is a perfect time to do so and feel, who was I last time I held this? Me. And who am I this time? Still me. Just focus on the flame. And I'm just gonna continue to pat a little bit. Just give you that warmth. And I'm going over your frontal lobe, your head. Down your neck, your communication center. Putting a little bit of extra wisdom and love. That little blue and golden threads. Down to your chest. Your shoulder blades. Ooh. Have you been carrying something heavy on your back? There's loads of tension here. It feels like the muscles is both stress, but it's definitely also something directly has been directly impacting. Not really. It's interesting because it really feels like you've been carrying something heavy because it feels directly impacted. It's almost like the muscles go, it's getting heavier the further down you go. So it's almost like you've been pushing your back downwards. It feels like that could definitely be emotion doing, but it feels like this is also physical. So I'm just gonna see if I can help you a little bit with that to bring it up. And so I start from furthest down your back, and I'm just gonna see if I can straighten it up somewhat. It's especially on the left side. So I'm just gonna put some more gentle pressure there. Okay. Beautiful. And so moving upwards your back, trying to help heal those strains. It's interesting if it is emotion that's been doing this, because it's really pushed downwards, and taking one side at a time, one part of the back at a time, gently. There, okay. Now moving up to your shoulder blades. The left side. There, okay, beautiful. Now continue. I was on your shoulders, so I'm just gonna continue with a warm patting on your aura, as it were. You felt tickles. I can imagine. Before we started with the back, I can imagine. I'm just going down. The perfume smell. The perfume smell. You have your, I'm not sure if it is your grandmother or your great grandmother who's stood behind you on your left hand side. She is the reminder of, I talked about the herbal healing before with you, and how you had ancestors who would work with herbs and herbal healing. This is the reminder. It's simply when you feel that perfume, you can take that as a reminder that you are on the right path, and that you know, because you want to continue working with the spiritual ways that for you are so connected with nature, even though for you it's more about the stones and the rocks and the trees, but especially the mountains, as I've talked to you about before. It really feels, you really feel connected to that. Where for her it was the herbs, and so when you smell that perfume, what they're telling me is that it reminded that you're on the right path and that you should believe in yourself and that you're doing the work. And down on your hips now. Okay. Going down to your legs, your thighs. Your knees. Going down your shins. Over your feet. And tickle your toes somewhat. And we're just gonna open up that beautiful auric, the beautiful energy in your aura. I wanted to say auric energy. That beautiful energy in your aura. Just gonna activate it, and then feels better, huh? I see, that's why I started to smell the perfume when I'm in nature. Sometimes I always wonder if that smell is from the flowers or trees itself. It could be all of it, you know. But they said that when you sense that, it is part of your ancestry telling you that yes, you know. It's of course also important to say that should you feel like you want to do something else, something differently in life later on, you can always follow your heart. But the bond to nature, with nature, and this, it's just what is coming through is that is just you, you know. And when this perfume comes through, is that yes, you are acknowledging you being you, and it's a little bit of a push, just joy. But it's interesting if emotion has done that to your back. Yeah, but I hope you feel better now. A little bit of joy, I hope, and warmth. I could really sense something lifting. So that was really nice, really good. Oh, you know what? Thank you for letting me give you that prize. As always, my friend. I wanted to talk to you. Of course, my friend. I love working. Can you tell? I love what I do. Oh, I just want to do it more. I want to do it more and more and more. Oh yeah. I talked to the tax office. Called me back yesterday. You remember when I said that they were gonna call me, you guys, or that I have spoken with them? Well, a couple of weeks ago. And because we don't know what we're doing, and they don't know what we're doing, and we're trying to figure it out, both of us. And so they called me yesterday, and what we have been doing, at least we've been doing nothing wrong, so we can continue with these readings, guys. And I'm so glad for it. Also, the private consultations that we have abroad, or our international conversations, so to speak, just between you and I, when you book a consultation, all is well. I'm so glad. So we can just continue doing that. So that feels wonderful. Thank you, Pega Grace. So, with the healing, as I said, I gave a healing to Bempus, to my fiance. First, I gave him a small one at home, and then yesterday he came to the office and he got one here. Can you tell, by the way, that we got? I know you can't tell underneath it all, but underneath all of that is a proper massage bench, and it works so good, so well. I'm so happy, I'm so thrilled. But what was interesting with this is, you remember I spoke about these clusters, these emotional clusters that I've been starting to work with, that we pull out of the body and we provide healing to them, some love and attention, and then my guides asked me to put them back into the body, and we talked in chat about how this is so they know what they can get to, the client, but also can feel them being themselves. If you remember this discussion, I'm sorry, I have to put this color matching is not good. I know. Thing is, I really wanted to wear this scarf today, and I really wanted to wear this yellow shirt, and so I couldn't part with either. So you'll have to do with the bad color match. I really just wanted both today. So what happened anyway with these clusters? Goatee, you're amazing. We're amazing. Let's have some fun together, right? So thank you. And Peggy Grace, have a lovely breakfast. But yeah, so I work with these clusters, right, to provide healing and attention, because they are forgotten emotion, or for emotion that we don't want to give place to, you know. And then I needed to put them back into the body. And as I told you, when the client lies there and I'm holding the cluster in my hands, and I can just see them being light as a feather. And they said they felt this as well. Several have. You know, this, it seems to be something that people experience during the healing, that you're just light, you're just soaring, you know, over the. I actually had a client Friday who said that I was trying to feel the cushions underneath. We have this big cushion that you can have resting underneath your legs, or your legs resting upon. And they said, I really tried to feel it, but I couldn't. I was just floating. And it's such a beautiful thing that they are experiencing this, because I do as well. Part of the healing is for me to bring you up together with my guides and your guides. I bring you up somewhat, floating somewhat over the bench in a fifth dimension, and then putting you in this bath of crystal light, or this little cradle of crystal light, depending on who you are. And so people are experiencing that as a feeling, as a sensation during the healing, which I know can also be that the muscles relax, and that is wonderful. Absolutely, no matter what it is, I love it. But as I'm holding these clusters, that is what I'm looking down at. I'm looking down at this individual being so light and so free, and just, they look like they weigh nothing. They just look, and not in a bad way, they just look free. And then I have to reinstall, if you may, this clusters again, and I could just see these black tentacles going back into the body. And it hurts me every time. Or my ego, it hurts my ego. Because I know it's so important for you to still feel as you. But when I'm holding that, I just want to, like I said before, I just want to throw it away. Get rid of it. And so I talked about this with Bumpus. And he said, because he wanted help with a thing that we're dealing with. And it has to do with habits or addictions, when we feel we have to do a certain activity or do something that we get addicted to. Like we talked about Peggy with having readings done. And he asked me to remove this. And he just said that I want you to I can handle it. Just get rid of it. When you're holding it in your hands, just get rid of it. I can handle it. And I said, well, I will see if I can come up with a compromise, I'm going to trust my guides fully, because I don't want to hurt you, and I want you to still feel you being you. But with these bubble of joys, right? Or these bubbles of joy. And so I did this small healing for him at home, just lying in bed. And that process of not removing, but to loosen an addiction was beautiful. I went into the fifth dimension and I could see where in the body this was holding on to, how the embrace was looking. And then I slowly went in for each spot. I could see that there was some kind of hands or something that gripped hold of. I took it up and I held it and I provided it with healing and crystal light and this attention, depending on what it was. And then it would just start to crawl from all these different spots. It would, one by one, it would crawl coming to the center of the body, where it then lay in the chest, floating, no longer connected to anything. And then I could just pull it up and out through the mouth. And when I pull this out, it was the first time that I've handled addiction in that way, in that sense. I've handled addictions before, but not in this cluster sense. And I pull it out and it just spread throughout the room. I could just see this world of what my lover created in this addiction, or and I just looked at it and I thought, what am I gonna do? So I tried to put my hands on it to provide healing, but it was in this entire world. It filled the room. So I asked the guides, and my fiance had asked me to remove this, right? And so I really hope that it's okay that I share this also. Members, my love. I know it is, but his guides asked me to give it to them, for them to handle. And so I pulled it in a little package. And this is also what I've done afterwards with other clients. I put it in a little package and I hand it to a guide. And for it, I get back this little feather. And when brushing that feather gently across the wound where I've opened up, this time it was by the mouth that it came out. So with that, I went through the body. But if you have this wound where you've pulled it out in the fifth dimension, of course, then I go with a feather and closing it up, and then I just let the feather go, and I see the compromise having been made. Because slowly these will turn back to you, but in a more slow way that the body can handle at the same time as taking care of the crystal light. And so it's a beautiful compromise. But it, of course, doesn't suit everyone. It is depending on how long your process needs to take, in how far you've come in your own understanding of yourself, and just how you're constructed. We're all different. But it was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful compromise, I feel. But then slowly that will, of course, return to the clients. And I will never leave, I will never have anyone leave this room without them being closed. I never want them to leave open spiritually. I want them to feel safe and warm. And so the process takes the time that it takes in this office. But it is absolutely beautiful, I feel. Yeah. But it's difficult. I wish I had a teacher. So if you know, I just love to talk to someone who also deals with these clusters in the way that I do, and what we do with them, what we do about them. But boy, oh boy, it's so wonderful. It's so beautiful. But it really feels like there is some great responsibility here, and I'm so afraid. You know, in the beginning when I started doing healing, the first healing session I had was with this other healer, and I talked about this before. And in the healing, I would be so afraid of actually hurting this individual, and I felt like I was draining the life out of them, literally. But I just trusted my guides, and also we were several people there. I had this other healer with me, so I just trusted the process because it was the first time I did it. But I was so scared that I was draining the life. And so afterwards, they explained that what they had been going through during the healing was dying over and over again, over the different lifespans that they've had, the different lives. They saw their own deaths over and over and over, for a reason that they needed to see the lives. I'm not sure why, but for them, of course, there was a reason. And then there was, of course, no wonder I felt like I was, draining the life out of this person. Literally, I just felt death. And so they die because they had these going through these different life cycles, these memories. And so it made sense. And so I know when that feeling comes up now, today, usually afterwards, or almost always, we talk about, because death is a fear that many have, and so that will come up when we deal with emotion, and so I will feel it. So I will have to trust myself and my guides that we're doing what is good for this individual, and that I would never want to hurt anyone. But with that responsibility, with working alone, of course, we always have the thoughts. But what I do, I absolutely love it. But boy, would I love to work with other people and hear their experiences, and also have sessions together, and just explore this, and starting to believe in myself in a more way, in a bigger way, for a bigger picture in myself. Sorry, you have a smudge right there. But what I wait, no, hang on. Okay. But with this, I trust my guides 100%. However, I can never trust my understanding of them 100%, of course. So you will always have to to look at the bigger picture. And of course, we will always have to check how the person is feeling, also in traditional medicine, of course. To take responsibility, yeah, for what we do, and that all is part of everything. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful process. But oh, it's an emotional roller coaster, right? But talking about this feeling of death, life and death, a long time ago, it wasn't that long, but I don't want to put it in. I want to keep this very anonymous, if that makes any sense. But I was gonna perform a healing for someone who didn't have any other beliefs yet left. They were so ill and they didn't really believe in energy and energy work, but they literally would do anything. That healing never happened because of plans changing and because of everyone. We had no way of meeting up, is what happened. And because of illness and because of circumstances. And now I'm going to meet that person this weekend. And this is an elderly person who's very, very ill. And yesterday morning, I talked to my guides about this individual, although it was a long time ago since I was supposed to have done this healing. And we talked about this individual, and I asked, because I felt like I needed to go there this weekend, and I asked, should I provide a healing? And then it hit me that I'm scared of doing so, because relieving that body of the stress might mean that the body, that it leaves everything behind. And that is probably what this individual needs, but I can't do it, And so I want to help to make someone feel good, but I also don't want someone to drift off forever. Although that is also part of their well-being, right? And this had me thinking about people who do this for elderly and for ill people. And it made me think of individuals in the past who walked around to meet these people in the last breaths, like Mother Teresa. I started to think about. And the moral in it and of it. And of course, it's not sure, it's not for certain that people can't take the healing, or that they take it so well that they finally let go. Of course, it doesn't have to end with death, a healing session, but the thought of it maybe be doing so is shivering, It makes me a little bit scared, and it's a very controversial topic, I know that, but so I'm not sure. I think I will not do the healing, but I wish I could do a little. I could do something just to give, that little spark of hope, of love. But it's difficult. It's a difficult topic, definitely. And it's a heavy one. I'm sorry for bringing it up. But it's also under the sun. It's also part of life. But I'm so scared. My ego is so scared of even talking about this, I just want to bring love and joy. But I would love to do it in a community, in a network where we could share experiences and talk about these things and many more together, So parts of why I want to do a network, of course, is also for me. I want to be able to open up and talk about these things that we need to talk about. I'm going to read When the student is ready, the master appears. Indeed. I'm just gonna check. I have another message. You who messaged me now? You're the only one who messaged me now. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments. It's very nice to meet you too. How you doing, my friend? So, yeah. But Packet Christ people are now telling me that maybe I should be the teacher. So I don't know. I just love what I do. But I would love to be able to share it with others. And I have this contact that I worked with before. We want to work together again. Definitely. And we're gonna do so in an upcoming event. But this was an event, where you get to see what kind of businesses or people and energy worker that you can find out there. And we just thought, are we gonna, introduce us as being a team, or are we individual companies? Are we individual energy workers? Can they book us for, a double session, or can they not? What are we doing here? Because we're in different parts of our lives and different parts of Sweden. And so we're thinking, what are we gonna? What are we doing? We have no idea. We just know we want to do this. So we have no idea what is gonna happen. But I've had this beautiful. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened with my voice there. I apologize. I had this beautiful thought before of having these huge sessions, these room healings, where I want many people, or as long as it's comfortable, as many as are comfortable with each other, so to speak, in a room, and then you would fill the room with healing, the whole room with healing. And me and this person or others would go around. I'm not sure if this is a practice that happens. I would love it to be though, because I would love to share experience with someone who's done this. But you would go around and you would provide extra healing for where it's needed, but to fill the entire room with healing. And then I was on the phone all day yesterday. Except for when I did the 3 healing sessions, I was on the phone hours upon hours. And after having spoken to this beautiful friend of mine, I had to talk to another one who works with animal communication. And so I just thought, what if we brought in also other species or also other animals to be there with the humans in this room, as long as everyone is comfortable together and we can have this huge session, this beautiful room healing. And no matter with different animals or with just humans, I really want to do this, There's so much I want to do. But when thinking about this with the wider perspective, we also want to talk about these things that we rather not, because they're part of it. What do we do if someone is too ill to have a healing? What do we do? That the soul would really need it, but that the body couldn't handle it. There's a reason, but what is the moral here? And since it's unregulated, regulated with healing, and this is already something that is discussed also as a very important part in the traditional medicine, the moral of it all, it's really difficult, But it's something that we have to talk about. I don't shy away from talking about things, even though my ego is out the door right now. I just want to run away from here, scared of someone, blocking the channel and having me, flagged up as someone talking about helping people die, all these things. No matter what it is, it's part of the world. And we need to talk about it, and especially since I really want to be doing these things and want to do this network and want to do this together and just together with people and share experiences and just develop, evolve. I'm having fun, and with all seriousness having fun. These are things that we need to talk about. You like the scarf I bought today? The blue suits you well. Thank you. This was given to me by a dear friend of mine. Although the color combination, really bad. I know that. But as I said before, I really wanted this scarf and I really wanted this yellow shirt. And so I couldn't let go of either one of them. So I know it's very bad, the color combination, and I apologize, but that's just how it is. Maybe the colors really are needed to contrast what we're talking about, right? But then it's just life, right? I want to do this transparent. I want to do this genuinely. I want to do this together, and I want to explore what we can do and how we can help ourselves. Just get that little spark of joy that is hidden in all of us, for ourselves and for others, you know. There was a talk show between readers on this weekend, and I brought out the addiction side of having readings and consulting to readers. They both spoke very open about it. Oh, I love it! Oh, that is beautiful. Do you know what it was called? Because I would love to see that if there is any recordings on it. And I would love to join future ones as well, because it's so important. Oh, it wasn't missing. Okay. Oh, I've seen her. Okay, I'm gonna check it out, definitely. Thank you, Pega Grace. Oh, I love that we talk about these things. Oh, I love that. That makes me happy. Maybe it's not so far off then to also talk about the rest of it. There's so many aspects, you know? And since we really want to do this for real and for the well-being of individuals, of people, of ourselves, we should talk about everything that is, you know? Because it's just underneath the sun. And it's just a life. I'm going on repeat now, can you tell? That is really important. I spoke about a lot of things. Oh, that is perfect. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm really gonna check it out. It was this weekend, you said? I'm gonna check the VOD. On Sunday. Okay. Yeah. It's so important to talk about different different perspectives and to see it from different viewpoints. It's really important. There's so many different aspects of all things between readers or healers, energy workers, and their clients, and everything in between, and in and beside, and all of it. It's just an interaction. It is an interaction. And with an interaction comes all of these different aspects of it, right? All the emotions, all possibilities for misunderstandings, and all the grave subjects, all the actual what might happen, what can happen, and everything between life and death, and all of it, sexuality, you know, misunderstandings, like I mentioned, anger, frustration, happiness, joys, all of those things, because it is an interaction. And so we who work with it, we really should talk about it, and others also, definitely. But I think it's so important to remember that it is an interaction. Yeah. And that's also so beautiful. What was it that I wanted to share with you last week when we didn't stream? We didn't have a stream on Thursday. And it was something I really wanted to share with you. I can't remember now. But it was something about just that. Oh, wait, it's coming closer. About how we would all experience the same thing. And how that doesn't make it not good, but rather yes, I remember now. Are you ready for another controversial topic? And this is a really controversial topic. It is about people, energy readers or energy workers, talking to external beings. Yes, I'm so happy to see you're still here, Goatee. This is controversial Tuesday. It's about energy readers talking about external beings that are in another form than human. And I'm not going to say what this was that made me think about this, but I did see a documentary or a very short part, a very short bit of a documentary where someone, or they talked about how someone had contacted other beings that were not human, right? Telepathically, and talked to them and had information given to them about where these individuals would live and be. And so they could then share it to the rest of the world in writing, right? And talked about these beautiful places. Well, I'm not sure it's always beautiful, but beautiful in a way that it's different, right? And well, that is their life. And these individuals, being in another form, would to them describe, what they believe in, how it looks, how the society is built, and how they are doing, and all these things, have this telepathic conversation. Channelers, yeah, definitely. Or telepaths, channeling, talking to other forms of being, right? And I'm not going to be, because we can talk about this in general, so I'm not going to be too specific on what this was, because I know it's a very controversial subject, but no matter what it be, talking to other forms of living beings, right? And not the ones that we know as animals, such as humans. And we talk about more of a human droid or humanoid, or different forms of beings, right? That we would usually in society take to being more to sci-fi, for example, or fantasy, depending on. But these different beings, and talking to them and hearing their stories and sharing it. And with this particular story, because this fascinates me, I am a telepath. So to be able to communicate with someone I know is possible. And to be able to communicate with someone who's another life form than we are, beautiful, And to get to hear these stories, absolutely wonderful. And I think it is so beautiful that they also share it. But, and as you know me, I stand between I believe as much as being another life form, and angels and such, I believe in my guides being external beings and guides and angels as much as I believe them to be, or I can acknowledge them of, it could be that they're just illusions in my head, in a way that my brain works and functions in a way for me to feel good about life, right? So I'm on both sides or in the middle, because it doesn't matter to me how it works, because it works and I just love what I do, and to be able to be there for people is what is amazing about it. And so I am totally open to what it might be. So when looking at this with channeling other life forms, that is absolutely beautiful, right? With aliens, yes, Bear Cries, for example. Aliens, yes, they are aliens, but they are not aliens. They are just different. 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 They are just diff mostly the little green guys. This was actually not aliens, but we can talk about aliens, for example, but it doesn't matter. But your subconscious mind, yeah, definitely. I'm open to anything. So when hearing about this story, I immediately felt, oh, and go to, this. Okay, I want to research. I want to know more. Because this is wonderful. What I noticed was that many names that they channeled was very similar to names that we recognize here in our society. And I felt that is absolutely possible. That's a possibility. And also when we channel, it will be the information also between me and the system will be redirected in a way that suits us so we can understand. So it makes perfect sense, but it was a little different, but very similar to when they talked about their religion, for example. The names coming through was very similar to what you will find in Christianity and or just in the Bible. And this I found to be quite interesting. But then, me being me, I started to think, okay, without being disrespectful towards their work and their channeling, because every truth is a truth, I just had I'm having a problem sharing this because my ego is going, morals. But I had the thought, what if the external beings were actually human? Could that be possible? Could you be telepathically talking to a human, thinking it to be an external being? And this is just in research purposes, just interesting. And so I took the name because when they were talking about when this channeling had been happening, and this, I can share, this was some decades ago, and I could recognize some words from in my system. My twin is very much into D&Ds and those types of activities, and this was very popular when this happened, and I could remember some names and some descriptions that came through was very similar to this. So first I was thinking, okay, as I know in my system, when first I started to receive information, I took everything as absolute truth because my brain was not capable. I couldn't imagine myself communicating with another brain. So I thought myself communicating with a computer, although for me it was a brain, but I registered it as more of a computer because it's easier. So I thought every fact that was coming through was fact. And it's taken years upon understanding how a brain works and all that it is. Just how your thoughts go, how you can trick yourself, how you can be paranoid, how you can have illusions, how you can dream, how you can fantasize, and how you can lie to yourself, how you can wear these different masks and all of those, how you can have hopes and how you can see things before they happen, you imagine things to happen or recreate something that already has happened and going through memories and all of these things that happens within our brain. It's taken years to understand that this thing that I'm communicating with, that my brain is communicating with, if it being a brain, is a brain. So that means all of that in communication. So when channeling this as fact, as them telling in this in the story of channeling this facts of how their society looked, I'm starting to think. First, my thought was, could this be someone sitting playing or writing for a D&D. So putting this story up, could that be possible? But then I felt, so I asked members to put them, because it was a specific name that I recognized. And so I asked him to put that name down. And this was a place. And search for it on Google. And turned out that this name is actually a city. And the location of this city from where this person was channeling would, in limited understanding of languages, because they had different language, this communication could be explained as being what they I don't want to share too much. I'm trying to be vague. I'm sorry, but let's say that it's aliens, for example, and they would say, "Oh, we're above you," for example, or maybe they're underground, and so they would say, "We're below you." And when you look at this city, it's actually, on the other side of the world. So it could be explained as being, for example, below you. Underneath, because it's on the other side of the world. And that city exists, and they have a religion, Christianity, or it is possible that this person could be a Christian. And so the names coming through that was very similar to the Bible could be the Bible, but because she was communicating in the language she was communicating, if they did not know this language, that those names that were so similar but yet different could be explained as being just a pronunciation issue or a pronunciation difference, if that makes any sense. And since the city exists, that is really interesting, right? And so then I was thinking, right, so with this, having seen this, and this city also existed when this channeling happened, could it be that they were communicating, in fact, with just another human being living on the other side of the world? And thinking it to be another life form. Is it possible? And if it is, and in this case we did not channel another life form. Of course we can have had, and it's beautiful if we have, but this is just playing with the thought, What if it turned out, let's say like this, if it turned out that every time we channel a different life form, we're actually channeling another human being. Let's just put it like that. Does that make us sad? Because I believe it could be both. But is that an awful way of looking at it? And is that disappointing? What I wanted to say when I realized this, and what I wanted to bring to stream, I think it is absolutely beautiful. Because imagine how much we can learn from one another in just who we are. If we can communicate with other life forms, it's beautiful to get their perspective. But what I realized, and what we usually see, is that the person who is channeling will often receive information rather than being asked the same back. And that I find quite interesting. So if someone communicated with me, and I knew this at first in our system, everything my twin did in how I read it was, overly non-human. Because of course If you communicate with someone, you're communicating with yourself, because that's what we've been taught. And if you're communicating with yourself, of course you would like to, because you already know yourself, you want to be someone else, right? And this is what happened in the beginning of our journey to try to understand our communication. And so this is why I thought it could be someone writing a story or just making things up, because that's what we do as humans. But there's also another side to this. It could be someone creating a story. It could be someone just sharing in this vivid, lands that we have channeled. That could be just someone writing that down. But fantasy also comes from reality and our perception of reality. So nothing is outweighing the other, both can be true. But it's really interesting to think about. And if it would turn out we're just communicating with one another, stop. We're communicating with one another. Isn't that beautiful? That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna read chat now. I saw a lot in chat. I'm sorry. A human who crossed to the other world. That is possible as well. An astral reading. That is possible. Captain Prostate 1. But it's energy readings. It is where I connect to you. I'm trying to say this in an easy way. Connect to you so that we see your life from your perspective and from my perspective and from different perspectives to find a new way of seeing your situation. So it's just a new way of looking at your life, or an old way, but just it is to bring you light, harmony, and joy for who you are, for you. Maybe it's an easy way to explain it. Am I anti-vax? I'm not anti-vax. I was talking about people who were channeling other forms of humanoids, usually, or people channeling from other worlds. And I was discussing the possibility that they were channeling from this world, registered as another world, and just the possibility of it, that we are communicating with one another. But of course we can be channeling from other worlds as well. I mean, we're just us. Of course there's others out there as well. We are aliens, right? If we're talking about aliens, we are aliens technically. So why shouldn't there be others? But I think that if it would turn out that we're just communicating with one another, then we're communicating. Why should that be just, right? Sarah, is communicating with deceased loved ones included in that? We're communicating with humans, but on another realm or dimension. Included in how we would connect to... How do you mean? How we would connect to... Because, that's an interesting question. I can only take it from my experience, and I have been communicating with a human being portraying themselves as being a past human being, portraying themselves to being another form of creature. Okay, and I've communicated with past humans or people in the past who have just been them. So if I can look at the difference in that, perhaps. And I also communicate with angels who are other creatures or other forms of living beings, maybe. It could be that I just see the humanity in it in order to recognize myself and to resonate with it. But every time, it's like when I talk to people about, I am open to everything. I really want to make that clear. And I also love to study it. I love to discuss this, an open, transparent discussion, because no matter what it is, a truth is always a truth. So I believe what you believe in, because I believe you believe in it, right? And I'm open to that. This is just discussions, and it's just interesting. It's just joyous for me to talk about. And I hope that you enjoy the discussion as well. So when I communicated, I had the question, have you ever communicated with demons? And I had this person who came to me and said, I have been in contact with, evil itself, with the devil. And I said, okay, it is possible that they exist, but I've never encountered them. The only time I've encountered the devil himself was when a human ego was behind it. So it turned out to be someone who've passed, who portrayed themselves as being the devil. That said, it doesn't mean that other forms of energy doesn't exist, but I've never encountered it. And if you want to talk to my ego about how I perceive personally the world, I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in good or bad. I just believe in energy. But I'm also open to that being a reality with demons, with angels, and all of it. I work with angels and I work with my guides, as you know. So of course it could be other beings as well. But it's interesting what I've encountered, because I have, and they were, coming up with. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna. Hang on. What? My little strap. Okay. I'm sorry. If that muffled your ears. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No, but I communicated with. They said to me that, okay, but I've communicated with the devil itself, himself. These things happened to me in the physical realm. I got these threats that could possibly not have got there in any physical form, but they were there. And I said, yeah, I recognize this. And this happened when I communicated with someone who said they were the devil. When I started to talk to them, though, it turned out to be an individual who'd passed and who wanted to portray themselves as being the devil. Their ego wanted to portray themselves as being evil, being the devil himself. And so that is just my experience. But then I'm open to hearing yours, and that's why I want to talk about these things, right? So when I communicate with the astral plane, what is the difference between communicating with another form of being seems to be the connection to a human, right? What is so prompt in when you communicate with a past one is that you do so via the memory, in a way, of the client, so of someone here now, in this dimension. And when you communicate with someone in another plane, from another life form, you have to find that frequency in some way, of course. So you will resonate with something, and that will bring you there, definitely. But it is in a more distant way, as I would perceive it to be. So I do sense a difference, if that is an answer to your question. Chris. I realized I haven't put any tags on this stream. That's interesting. So we can try having no tags. I realized now, actually, just now. So if that answers your question. I'm gonna read chat, guys. Symbol, hi, how are you, my friend? peaceful. Oh, I'm trying to be, but I'm also very. I want to be transparent and talk about everything, no matter how dark, no matter how light, no matter how hysterical, no matter how grave. I just want to talk about everything. And thank you so much for being here, my friend. Truly. With your theory of this channel is connecting with other human being, if that possibility is included there, that you can, when you communicate with an ancestor or with someone's past, you're actually communicating with someone who's still alive. Is that your question? Who portray themselves as being the other person who has passed. Is that your question, Bear Christ? Lonewood, hi, how are you doing? Long time no seen, yeah. I'm well, how are you? We got a bubbles of joy now. Look. Boop. I'm very well. How are you doing, my friend? So is that your question, Bear Christ? Gonna check, is there anyone who's been placed in queue? Oh no. Hang on. No, it doesn't look like it. You're great. Oh, wonderful. I'm actually gonna cut this a little bit short today because I'm going off having lunch with my fiance and we're trying to find some place to park and recharge or charge our car, our electric car. It's not easy to find a place to charge them at, I feel. But yeah, so I'm off in about 10 minutes, guys. And I realized I had no tags on the stream. Ah, silly me. But it's interesting. It will be lovely. Oh, we got these. You know, I'm an energy worker, but I also got these things that happens to everyone. You know, and at the moment at home. Oh, you, Longwood. I was just gonna ask if there was any way you could. Okay, sorry. I was just checking with your energy shot. I apologize. I got a little bit. We got some issues at home. And that is, we have a lovely, lovely little kitty boy who doesn't eat anything except wallpaper and flooring and tuna, but he's not happy with it. And we have our only way to heat our house is by firewood, right? And our chimney is smoking in, or the smoke is coming indoors instead of out the chimney. And our chimney sweeper is coming next week, but we have no way of heating our house. So I'm gonna go try to buy really dry wood and see if that helps, because we have had some problems with our wood not being too, our firewood not being too dry. So that's probably the one of the reasons. So I'm gonna buy really dry wood, just a couple of slices, and see if that works better. So that I'm gonna go do, and then we don't find anywhere to charge our car. So I'm hoping I'm gonna get home today. See, I got these things as well. Wallpaper kitty, yeah. He's 6 years of age, but he will never grow up. I love him. He's wonderful. And the thing is, he seems healthy. He's got his fur is so soft, and his eyes, when they're green, when they're blue, when they're yellow, they're clear. And he is wonderful. We have such a tight family, but he does only chew on wallpaper and flooring, and we don't know what to do. As an energy healer, you would like to know how, you know, but we do need a third eye perspective. So if you guys know, have any ideas, I would love to know. We went to a pet supply shop yesterday, and bought this really good food, this cat food that is just meat, proper meat that they would be satisfied with, you know, and the other cats love it. He wouldn't have that either. He'd rather chew on wallpaper. So I'm not sure what to do. The commands work. Yeah, they do. You can now join and leave the queue. See, Fire Christ, we listen. We listen. Mm. Yeah. So, oh, symbol. By the way, I just want to show this one more time. You've seen parts of it, you guys. I just want to show you the entirety of it because this, hang on. Look, this is my magic table. Look, isn't it beautiful? It's simple and I love it. So I got my little crystals and I got my little water and I got my little wand and some greenery. It's not, the whole wand holder is not too beautiful, but it works. Simple, beautiful, recommend, right? I really just wanted to show you, to share that. And something that you've seen a very, very little of, just a little snatch of, is this. Isn't that beautiful as well? It's what I use to pour the water with. I felt symbol, you wanted to see that. But it's a really good and neat idea. Simple and beautiful, I feel. So, as a last thing, I want to talk to you about the crafting. Because I wanted to commit and really to make a teddy bear out of glass beads, as you know. The thing is, I want to, because I have this feeling that I want this channel to be a way for you to relax and also talk about topics that we need to talk about, of course, but to relax, to be yourself, to be transparent and open, and to just feel embraced. And with that, I feel like it gives more. It's more satisfying to see a creation being made at fast speed. It is easier for the brain to be with, in a way, in a sense. At the same time, it's really nice to be doing it together, to just take each bead on its own. But since I work with, since the energy readings and the healing are what is most important and what I usually focus on and what I will always focus on, it takes a long time to do these crafting projects, and a long time. And in normal pace, at normal pace during the streams, it might be a little bit not too much to look at, not too much to enjoy, and you could see it differently maybe. But I'm thinking of creating a studio at home and make videos out of the crafting progress instead, the crafting processes, when it takes a long while. And I would love to hear your opinion on this. If you'd like me to sit and craft one bead at a time here live and just enjoy our time together, because that is also beautiful. Or if you do feel like it would be easier to enjoy a video where the crafting process happens quicker. It is also a way for me to to feel more safe in knowing, because I'm so, not quite believing myself, it would be really good to do this live. But it is also nice to have the support of just creating a video and putting it out. Now, I'm thinking, I'm not too sure how to do it. What do you guys reckon? I think it's a really cool idea. I personally prefer the live aspect of it. Okay. That's interesting. I'm just going to show you. Have you seen small figurines before, symbols? I would love to start sculpting and do that live. That is something I definitely would like to do live. But if we're talking about this little teddy bear, for example, I'm going to see if I can have them out. That is the reference. And what we started on last week, I knew I wanted a teddy bear with blue socks and a pair of mittens. And this is how far we got last stream. That is gonna become a sock, right? I do not know the proportions of the teddy bear and nothing of it, but this is how far we got that stream. And this stream we've done energy readings and healings throughout. So this project and the projects that we take on will take a long while and a long time, but it could be beautiful to do. So that is just a thought on how we want to do it. You haven't seen them. I think the lowest we could be condensed down into a video too. I've been thinking about that. Yeah, definitely. It just takes a lot of editing. And the streaming is not, because we take clients here as well, and the healing and the energy work and the astral work and all of it is our main focus in the company. The editing time would take up time that maybe we should focus on something else, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I can see if I can share with you our projects from before that are tiny. You can see, hang on, if I can find. Can I find a little Pokemon? A little Pokemon? There's a little doggo. There's a little Pokemon. Okay. Let me see. They all got tangled up in one another. Oh. Oh, maybe that's fine. That's fine. I think many can resonate with this, how we need to just commit to one project. But because I am so self-aware and feel not safe with, I'm so scared of doing things and self-conscious, I just start one project and then I start another one and another one and another one. Hey, you can resonate, I know. And symbols, as I know with you, sometimes we come to that we started so many projects that we just give up completely. And I resonate with that. So, I'm gonna show. Hang on. First, we did a little Pokemon. See if I can find the camera. Can I find the camera? Hang on. This is so difficult each time. The camera is angled in such a way it's difficult to show. Hang on. Oh dear. It's upside down! See if I can show better in this camera. This is a little Pokemon. Yeah. There. You see him? We did him. But he's tiny, as you can see. And then we did this little doggo who is in a sleeping bag that we've not finished. see if we can focus on that. You see him? Likidoki? We did him. Then I'm covering in a sleeping bag. I think he's adorable too. And before all of that, before we even started, I did a little turtle or some description before. But that was a long time ago. So I wanted to continue doing these small ones because they're so adorable. But I also wanted to commit to a project, and I felt I really wanted to do a color coordinated project and to do it in a bigger scale, but I'm not sure. But we did this one. I think he's cute. And the thought with these were that I would make them on stream, and then I would, if someone said, oh, I want him to come home with me, or to me, to meet me at home, I would give them a focused healing and ship them off to you. And that's what I wanted to do. So we can continue doing that, but something happened after Christmas, because then I started on projects and I just couldn't commit to them. And so that's why I wanted to do a bigger project to really commit to. And the start of a little sock is all we've got as of now. So we'll see, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you would like to see. And then also the meditations that we've channeled, the channel meditations, we want to give a proper place to. So we want to put them in individual videos and play them at the end of each stream. So one for each stream, looping around. Or not looping around, but the ones that we have looping around doing different days, so to speak. So that is something we want to do. But with the crafting, I would love to hear your thoughts. Streaming at home. Yeah, we want to stream at home. That is our main goal, but we have no sufficient internet to do so. So that is why. But we're looking to get it. They said sometime this year, perhaps. I think with the crafting videos will be a better idea. Right. With the crafting videos would be a better idea. I had a feeling, yeah. I think so too. And then I want to craft also literative work. Is that even an expression? I love to write and I love to read. And I read aloud before on these Twitch streams, and that was very popular both with the audience and with me. I love doing that. So I would love to read. So once again, if you have any works that you have the permissions to and you would like me to read here, I would love to. I love reading. I love it. And I miss it. And I read all of my works, and so I want to write more, as I was thinking of writing live as well, but I'm not sure. Or I will write in between streams and then read what I've written. But I'm not sure at all what to do. All I know is that healing and energy readings and transferences will always come first. But then bubbles of joy can come in different forms. And I'm a creative person and I would love to explore a lot of things. So if you have any ideas, do let me know. I'd love to look into it. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong. That's what I wanted to do. I like what you're going on here, especially. Thank you, Symbol. Truly, it means a lot. Player Cries, you started to make a list where you write down every time you get a reading. So after a time, as you told me on last week about this exercise, I would look down at that list and realize for myself how often do I get those, and realize by myself some of them weren't really necessary. Yeah. That's really good. I'm happy for you, my friend. That's really, really good. To end this little stream, I'm gonna put this little light here. And I'm gonna thank you for joining me. And I really feel like, yeah, I'm gonna let this little track, I'm gonna do a silent group healing. So there will be no directions from me now. I just want you to sit down and just breathe. And I want to do a very short, beautiful little group healing. And then we sign off. Does that sound good? I'm gonna have the sound go up a little bit. I'm gonna change track. And I'm gonna work with this beautiful sparkles of joy. So just sit back, relax, and whatever comes up, as you know, meet it, greet it, thank it, and let it go. And within yourself, give it a hug. So I'm just gonna put the music up and change track. Ready? Just breathe. Okay. The crystal bulbs around you. Just let that be with you. And just breathe in and out. And I'm just gonna have them come slowly. There. Beautiful. Symbol. I would like to give you a longer reading, because I feel you're still, I want more, and I want to provide that to you. So I'm thinking, would you like to have a reading? A healing, sorry. Would that be okay? Would you like that? And if so, would you like to do it you and I? Or would you like me to do it just me and letting you know when I'm doing it? Would you like to have communication? Or would you like me to do it distant? If you would like a healing. Because I really would like to give you a relaxing session. Yes, me. Okay. If you either join us on Discord and send me a message there, or message me via email, we can come up with when it's suitable for both of us, and I will just let you know when I'm doing it. And that will be that time, and you can just go on being you. Okay? But message me on Discord or send me an email. It's the easiest way. Okay? Is that okay? And I will do a distant projected healing, or I think I'll do an astral healing for you. So just give me a hoot and I will tell you. We'll find a time that suits the both of us. Meaning that you're awake or that you will go to sleep. We'll see what suits. Okay? What is suitable? Peggy Cries, you wanted an advice, you said. You would like to ask me for an advice. What is it about, my friend? With myself becoming and being more confident that each day I'm starting to have and feel a need to put myself out there and starting to meet girls in order to find a partner. But I have no clue what to do. Yes, you do. You know exactly what to do, Peggy Grace. We've told you this over and over and over and over again, and you resonated with it over and over and over and over again. And so you were talking about how you were getting so many readings. But you know what we've always said? The love comes with the love of the work. So smell that perfume and walk the path. Well, I know you're not looking for a reading, but the advice is hear what the readings already said. And that is, with the work comes the love, right, for you. So do it. Indeed. Definitely. Taking the opportunities that come. See, you have all the answers, my friend. Smell the perfume. Go out, greet nature, and do this, my friend. You are beautiful. Yes, we all believe in you, Bucket Gross. And the most beautiful thing is, now you're starting to believe in yourself. I love that. So don't feel you have to, because it's so natural to fall back into what we're used to, and we're used to not believing in ourselves. So that feels more comfortable also, in a way. Just let's do this now, right? Just know this and be there for yourself and just pushing on forward. It's your time to shine, so shine, my friend. Truly. I love what you do. Do it. You can do this. And we're all here for you. It's okay to have days when we don't believe in ourselves. It's okay to have days when we are not sure we can see clearly straight ahead. That's part of life. And that gives us an opportunity to want change. And the change, with change, awakes curiosity. And curiosity is the most beautiful thing I know. Because that in itself creates change. And so we're in movement. Then I feel comfortable with the idea of looking out for love like some do. So many readings you've had and all said your love comes when you with work, right? It's as easy as that. Then you should always, of course, listen to yourself and your inner voice and what that tells you. But I truly feel this is as simple as that. Just go out and have fun. Be you. Okay? I have to go now. I hope this feels okay, Becca Christ, and the rest of you. And Simbolt, give me a hoot, and I'll give you some healing. Okay? And if anyone else of you would like a private session with me, or a distant healing, or a reading, or whatever it might be, or just come in contact with me, feel free to join our Discord server, and feel free to send me an email also. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Or come back here. We're streaming again on Thursday. 1 p.m. GMT +1, so CET. Central European time. How are we feeling from being sick on Friday? We're gonna have a cold for a long time because of our problem heating the house. But that's fine. It's totally fine. We are fine. He got a healing yesterday. It was wonderful. It gave both him and me a lot. So it's beautiful. Thank you for the question, Grace, my friend. I'm gonna have to go now and go see him and charge the car and have some lunch. I'm late. This was wonderful. Thank you for a beautiful stream. And I hope to see you on Thursday, where I'm gonna remember to put some tags in as well. Take care, you beautiful people. And thank you for now. You too, Goatee. All of you. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning. Have a wonderful you. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.